Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day today. This was a surprisingly good Monday after the Thanksgiving holidays. I really didn't expect much. We didn't have any earnings to report at the open, so I was anticipating a pretty slow morning, but SQ kind of came through for us, and we're gonna look at that trade here in a few. But what I want to share with you today, guys, is really to stay in your lane. You have to filter out the noise. You got to stop worrying about other people's results. Stop worrying about what everybody else is trading. You got to focus on developing you. Now if you have one person that you're learning from and you're trying to follow along, that's different. But when I'm mentoring somebody and they're saying that, I listened to this person's video and they said you use this, and I looked at this person's video and they said to use that. And, then my response becomes, you just need to pick a spot and figure out, what you want to do. And once you do that, go to it and you maximize your potential. Chasing Twitter, stock twits, Facebook, and Instagram all day is not going to make you any money. All it's going to do is cause you to lose confidence in yourself, cloud your head with a whole bunch of garbage that you can't do anything with. Especially if you start comparing yourself to other people that are posting things and you don't know whether they're doing it or not. You don't know whether they're on paper or not. So you can't really let that stuff get to you. You got to stay in your lane, keep your focus in the lane that you're running in. Because if you do that, before you know it, you're going to look up and you're going to be at the finish line. And everybody that started out, that sprinted out in front of you, tripped and fell or just kind of faded into the sunset. A lot of you can't achieve the level of success that you want because you're listening to all of this information coming into your head. You're letting a whole lot of garbage come in, and it doesn't have anything to do with what you want to do. You got it coming in from all directions. So you have to develop that discipline so that you can silence that noise and just stay in your lane. Keep that focus. I don't know if you've ever been on a horse carriage ride or you've seen the horses drawing the carriage in some of these historic towns. Then you see that they have blinders on the horses, even when they race, to keep the horse focused on their lane. And we have to put those blinders on so that we're focused on our lane. We're focused on running our race, and we're focused on developing and growing at our rate. We can't compare ourselves to other people. So like me, I stay in my lane. I don't try to be like Kanal at Bulls on Wall Street. He is who he is, and he's good at what he does. But I'm not trying to be him. I'm not trying to be like Nate at Investors Underground. He's good at what he does, and I'm just me. I stay in my lane and I do what I do, and that's what makes me successful. So you have to stay in your lane. Just keep that focus. Keep your head down. Keep working. And don't let all of this noise get in and start getting you off track. Because before you know it, you may trip and fall. And sometimes people trip and fall enough to where they don't even want to get back up. All right, so let's take a look at SQ today. This stock had been running up. This actually hit our 52-week high scan on our swing trade side. After it reported earnings, and it did make the run up. Here we made a 52-week high. We pulled back and, did the setup. It completed the setup, and we just broke out. Went up almost 10 points. When you see a stock running up like this, it's gonna, find some relief somewhere. So we're looking at the RSI. This is one of the indicators that gives us an idea of how overbought or oversold the stock is. Here we were at 94, I think we had gotten to. So we were getting into overbought territory. You look at the MACD is what I look at. Some people look at the MACD line and look at the crossover. This line is only going to get but so far away before it starts to pull back. And you can see this on any stock. And this was, pretty far away. So we were looking for a snapback at any time. Here we look at the histogram. On Friday, we got a little darker green here. So this is telling me that the momentum may be about to change. And this is how I read this. Now, people may use this different ways, but I only look at this on the daily chart to help me with my swing trades. But what it's doing is it's letting me know where the momentum may be heading and if there's a possible switch in momentum. You can see this was bright green up until Friday. Friday we had, a drop in volume. And so to me, that gave me another good indication that we may be getting a short out of this today. So we were gapping down. How far we were going to get, didn't know. I knew this was going to be the ultimate target here. This the 20-day on the daily. But didn't know whether we were going to get there today or whether it was going to take 2 days to get back here. But this is what we were looking at. We didn't have any levels up here to deal with. Only whole and half dollar marks that I was watching and that I would take profit on. But other than that, that's kind of what I was looking at this morning. So, and I talked about this weekend about, I'm looking at the first several weeks, the last several weeks, and the money that I would lose would be between 8 and 9 o'clock. This would be pre-market. So the pre-market trades really weren't following through and giving us clean moves like they were, a couple months ago when we were really nailing them. So I made a decision last week, okay, let's not take any. We're going to start at the open and we're going to trade the morning and kind of leave it at that. If the afternoon sets up, then we'll do something. If not, we're not going to worry about it. So last week we did good. This is what I was pretty pleased with everything last week. We made money on the best times of the day. We didn't give anything back on the most challenging times for us. But today, things got a little bit out of whack. Now, of course, I was looking at SQ. I was very happy with what I saw. I knew this was going to be a short. I knew we were going to sell off relatively hard. So I waited for it to sell off, waited for the bounce. And, this candle tried to push up. We couldn't really close above the 9. This candle opened, started to push up. Then we started selling off. I saw weakness coming in. So I went ahead and got short here. I was looking for a pretty strong move down, running into the open. But we didn't. We kind of got hung up, went back up and tested this 20 here again, and thought we were going to, roll over. I thought, well, hey, we're just going to go back and test this. But we found some strength again and got bought up. And so it stopped me out. And, here was another pre-market trade that, we got stopped out on. I think this was about a $165 loss on this one, with commissions probably around 177. So we gave it back here. So I waited and said, okay, I just need to wait until the open. So we rejected this isn't a level, but we rejected the 20 here. We closed above it, but then we couldn't hold above it. We pulled back and we tried to bounce again. Again, we couldn't get over that. And here's the candle where we opened. We got bought up a little bit. Now, not being able to push this level again, I could have taken it off. This is actually the 5-minute open range high because it went up to this level, this first 5-minute candle, and it set in that 5-minute high. Up until this point, there was no level here. All I did was see it come up and try to push this again, and it couldn't do it. So I'm not going to short into all of this support. I'm going to wait for it to continue to sell off. I waited until about, let's see, 11 seconds or so before the candle, this 5-minute candle actually closed. And so I got in. I'm looking for the move down. I got in. This candle opened, did just what I figured it would do, try to test, and we sold off. And so my first target was going to be 46.20, 25, and I was going to take some off here. I was going to take some at 46. Okay, I was going to take some at 46. That's what happened. And I didn't type in the right price. I didn't type in 46. I set the limit order and it filled at the price that it was at. So I kind of messed up that cover. And here I took some at 45.50 and then 45.25. You know, we were starting to slow down a little bit here. So that was as perfect of a trade, you know, as we could take at this point. So we got, I let it pull back. You know, here's where I got out. This last little piece, you know, I got stopped out on this profit stop. And I waited for it to reject. Got back in again under the VWAP. And took profit here at 45.67. Took half off here. This is where I wanted to get out. And we bounced and ended up getting stopped out back at break even. So I went ahead and got back in. You know, this was just a case of I'm not going to let this run past break even. Now I've got profit locked in. I'm not going to give it back. And I could always do just what I did. If it pushed up and stopped me out, I could always get back in when it sets up again. And that's exactly what I did. I got back in, but we were after 10:30 at this point. So I went in, you know, smaller size, about half size, and caught another good move. And I was leaving a piece on to see, you know, how far we could get. 43 was going to be where I wanted to get it at, but we couldn't get 43. I left it on. I was going to add, if we reject it here, I was going to add back, but it pushed over the 9 and ended up stopping out on a profit stop here. And then got back in again, got a short move down, but couldn't get the follow through on it and ended up getting stopped out here. So this was about going into lunch, and I felt, okay, it's time to go to lunch. Let's stop. And this is where I initially wanted to stop. So I took a picture, a screenshot of this, and kind of got everything out. And I shouldn't have done that, because what I did was I looked at the P&L. And when you see something like this and you are $2.65 away from a big whole number like 500, it just eats away at you, because you could say all I need to do is get in and get out and I could make a couple dollars. and it just eats away at you and eats away at you. And so eventually, it won out, and we started to set up again, and I went ahead and got short here. We pushed up over the 20, sold back off, so I got short again under the 9. We did get another pushback to try to retest it, and we sold off, and here was a complete rookie cover here. This is just a product of me having that P&L in the back of my mind, saying I'm just going to lock it in and put my stop back at break even. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. It is what it is. But I took some off here and locked in that. Then I took another piece off here. And these were strategic, whole and half dollar marks that I was looking for. And here I had to take it off. This was my ultimate target. Remember, this was the 20 that we saw on the daily. And I had it marked here. This was my ultimate target. But I had to leave at 3 o'clock. I always have to leave at 3 every day to go pick my son up. So I had a choice to leave this on to see if it hit, the bid I had out down here, or just take it off, be on the safe side, take it off and go, because I've had this thing, do crazy stuff before. So I took it off, and had I been back by 3:30, this would have been a solid entry again. I'd have been looking for this move down, but I caught the meat of this move. I traded it all day. This is just like the trade we made last week on SIG. We looked to hit the opening range trade. This is right off our watch list. As a matter of fact, this was the only stock I was watching today. And we just nailed it. Some people say, why do you scale out? You don't know what's going to happen. You got to scale out. You got to take profit as you get it. We're not swing trading. We're day trading. And we're taking advantage of the intraday moves. And sometimes it moves, slow. Sometimes it moves fast. Sometimes it'll turn around on you. So you got to lock in profit, when you can. So pretty good day. Here again, we were $3.82 away from hitting a solid number here. But thankfully, I didn't look at this until after I got home and all of this was over. But you can see we had a solid day. And these are the trades that we like to trade. This is the exact strategy that we like to use. It's the only emotional part is waiting for the first cover. Once you get that first cover, it's just a matter of waiting to hit your marks. If it pulls back and stops you out, so what? You get back in when it sets up again. When we have something like this, when we have a setup like this, there's no way we should be focused on anything else when we have something in our wheelhouse like this. So one trade like this a week can really make it. And that's all we're looking for. We have more equity now. Dealing with small equity, it's a headache. We had to fight, we had to scrape, but that's what has to be done, and that's what helps to teach you and helps mold you and shape you, and you build that foundation that no matter what happens, you could always come back to. And you could look at the improvements. Here, when we were trading with smaller equity, we were in the account growing phase. This was, a couple weeks ago. This was our average, 71, 78 a day. Now, this isn't an average loss. This is an average gain. Any average gain per day when you're trading small and you're growing, this is what you look for. 5 trading days, let's just say 7 times 5, That's $350 a week. When you're just learning, how many of you are making that now? And how many of you are losing $350 a week? So you have to start smart. You have to be okay with this. Yeah, it's frustrating. You're not posting, huge gains. This week was only like 574. But you're learning, you're growing, and trading with smaller size makes it a lot difficult. Here, we're at 48%. We were struggling because trading with smaller size, not being able to allow the trade to work, is handcuffing you. But you can make it. You just have to be disciplined, take the wins, take the losses, keep them small, and make sure you take the wins when you get them. And you can get to this point. Now here's the last 2 weeks. This is what we've done the last 2 weeks. Our capital, we grew it through the hard part, the beginning of the fourth quarter, and now, we're reaping the benefits. And you're gonna see these trades play out. And you could trade these with half the size I'm trading them and still make, decent money. But you got to realize you got to stay in your lane. You got to look at what you have, look at what you're working with, and you assess what you're doing based on your goals and your account and how you're managing it. That's what you base your goals off of. Not what you see somebody else doing, not what you see your buddy doing. Because a lot of times that might not even be true. So all of the work, the groundwork we put in, all of the foundation building, the frustration that we put in the first part of this quarter is paying off. And this is exactly what I want to show you. And this is exactly what we do live every day. If you were in chat today live, we went through this trade step by step. Told you what I was thinking. We were watching the price action together. I was telling you what I was seeing. What's, more likely to happen based on what we see. And the manipulation we saw pre-market. I showed you exactly what happens. Somebody that I was taught that, and I'm showing you the same thing. Because these are the things that we have to identify as independent traders in order to be successful. People don't want to believe it, but, if we make money, somebody's losing it. And if we're losing it, somebody's making it. So, we need to be on the winning side. And we need to figure out what these big guys are doing. And we need to be on the same side that they're on. And this, it sounds simple, but you have to learn how to read the price action. You have to understand how stocks move. What makes stocks move? And try to get into, what the market is thinking and interpret what you're seeing. And that's what this education is all about. So if you want to learn more, if you want to see this happen every day, just join us. Come over to averagejoetrader.com and sign up. It doesn't matter if you're monthly, quarterly, yearly. You get everything. You get you come into classes every week. You come in the weekly webinars that we do. You can come in on the Sunday morning swing trade watch list and strategy session that we have every Sunday morning. You have access to everything. The only thing that you would pay extra is if you want, one-on-one mentoring where, I'm going through this, with you one-on-one, step by step. But other than that, you don't have to pay another dime but your subscription. That's it. So it's all about, education and trying to get you what you need to be successful. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for me. I will see you tomorrow. We'll get back at this and see if we can keep the ball rolling.